Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Tuesday. Tuesday! Um, I don't know why I do that either. Uh, it's like, why did you always do that? Singing the day. So I figured I would toss it up a bit and do the Angel Answers cards. In fact, I'm probably going to stick with this for the rest of the week. If I do a live on Friday, it'll be a very short one. A very, very short one. Because tomorrow, Comic-Con begins. I'm still sad that I did not get preview night again for the second time in 13 years, but I'll live. I will live. So anyways, I'm going to do this a little differently than I do on Friday. Normally I do the book and this. I'm just going to pull some cards, tell you what I think about it, and then we're going to move on to gratitude lesson number 20. We have 8 more to go. So remember, if you don't watch this every day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday is when I do the gratitude lessons. And Wednesday is Self-Care Wednesday, and Friday is typically Oracle Friday. So we're going to see, because by Friday I'll be in the full swing of things. Thursday too. So Thursday I may actually do it from Comic-Con. I'm not sure yet. Depends on how early my day needs to start. Friday and Saturday are going to be epic. So I'm going to do as much as I can to get as much sleep on Thursday and Wednesday and Thursday as I can. So, it's all about the waiting. All about the waiting for Hall H on Saturday. So, which requires very little sleep, unfortunately. So, but you know what? When you love something, you do whatever and you don't care. So, alright, let me see. Nothing's flying out of here, so I'm just going to pull a couple from here. And then we'll just go from there. So, the first one, yes. I don't know what yes is. It's opposite of no. So, I just realized I forgot to change my glasses again, but too bad. So, yes, opposite of no. So, if there is a question that's going on in your head and you needed an answer and it resonates with you, yes is your answer. So, big happy changes. I don't know who needs to see this, but I like both of these cards. I feel like both of these cards are speaking to me too. I know I say that a lot, but I don't say it very often. It feels like it just kind of hit me in the pit of my stomach. So big happy changes are coming your way. No. All right, no. So if the other card did not resonate with you, but this one does, no. I don't even fucking know what that means. I mean, could these cards be more confusing for everybody? I hate it when the yes and the no's come up. If yes and no did come up, that might mean that you already know the answer, but you just don't want to hear it. All right, so it's like as baby sibling would always give me, bananas. So you're ready. You're ready. Yeah, you're ready. That one gave me the deep breaths too. So whatever it is that you're afraid of moving forward in, or moving or pursuing, you're ready is telling you, just do it. Just do it. How about this with the no? No more procrastinating. You're ready. Or it could mean no, you're ready. You know, because you're like, it might be like, yes, big happy changes are coming, but I'm a little nervous because, you know, for whatever reason, and it's saying, no, stop being so pessimistic. Stop, you know, being so bleh, and just go for it because you are ready. And then the last card, I always like to pull 5. Remain positive. Remain positive. So there you go. All right. Let's turn this into a story. Let's turn this into something that means something. Yes. 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 This is something that is going to happen for you, should be happening for you, will be happening to you, as long as, you know, big happy changes, right? Yes. Okay. So how about that? Yes. Big happy changes are coming. No, do not procrastinate, because you're ready and everything will work out as long as you remain positive. All right. Good morning, older sibling. So let's get to gratitude lesson number 9. I know these are going to be pretty, I'm hoping these are going to be pretty short this week, because I got stuffs to do. But, yeah, I just, as you can tell, I've been up since super early, and I'm just a hot flippin' mess right now. Not in a bad way, in a good way. But by that I mean it's like I don't have my jewelry on. I got nothing. So you can watch me do my thing. You're like, really? You are so not professional. No, I'm not professional. But that's what makes it fun. That's what keeps it exciting and gleeful, because I just do my own thing. All right, there we go. All of it's on. Still can't see it because I got hair in the way. Um, it's been so humid, I'm not even bothering. Whatever people get is what they get at Comic-Con. My hair is the curls, the waves, whatever the fraggle it's doing. So, let's get started. I was thinking, after we finish the gratitude, I may do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday of self-love. Because I'm in a different place now than the last few times I've done it. Just like the last few times I've done gratitude, I'm in such a different place now, and I'm getting so much out of this, along with hopefully all of you watching out there. So I'm really, really leaning in to doing self-love. So we'll see what happens. But if I do, I hope you stay with me, because self-love is so many different things. And I know that we have the self-care Wednesday, which is why I'm not leaning into that. But there are so many different things we can do for self-love, including fun exercises, and of course, I'll put my 2 cents. I'll put my spin on it. My spin. So, I do hope you join me for that. But until August 8th will be the last day of gratitude, the last lesson of gratitude. So, which is kind of neat, right? Double infinity. Turn it sideways, it's an infinity symbol. So, here we go. Number 20. Lesson number 20. If the only prayer you said in your whole life was thank you, that would suffice. If the only prayer you said in your whole life was thank you, that would suffice. Now, I will admit I cheated, because a lot of times I read these things, I write these things down and then I just leave it until we come across them. But this morning something made me read it. So while I was cleaning my kitchen, I was thinking, I think it's fun to clean on the weekdays. That way on the weekends, you don't have to worry about it. You can just relax. But, because I get up so early anyway. But I was thinking, when it says, if the only prayer you said in your whole life was thank you, that would suffice. No. Oh, and that's from Eckhart Tolle. Tolle? I don't know. The reason I trip over some of these people's names is because I literally have a handful of friends that have read this person's books, and each one of them has their own way of saying his name. Toll. So I should look it up, and I thought I did, but then you get insecure, right? And you start worrying about what other people are thinking. So good morning, Shannon. Aloha. So again, if the only prayer you said in your whole life was thank you, that would suffice. And one of the thoughts that came to my head when I was cleaning was, even though I've mentioned this a million times before on the perspective, so for anybody who watches religiously or even catches it here and then, you've probably heard this a million times before. But a lot of times we take it for granted, right? That well, let me see if I can hold on. I had some natural caffeine this morning, so my brain is like, woo, it's firing in 10 directions, because I don't normally drink caffeine. But the thought that ran through my head was, a lot of times we do things, like we do things that end up having a thank you with them, like, that entails some sort of gratitude, usually. But the thought I was thinking of is when, like we get to a mall or something, right? Or you get to a public place and you're opening the door and someone says thank you. And it's not something that we feel we have to do, but it's polite, it's courtesy. This is how most of us were raised, or all of us were raised, and most people still adhere to. A lot of people are just kind of all about themselves. They just like nothing else exists around them. They're just so focused, hyper focused on something, they just don't fucking care. And that drives me nuts, especially in public places. I told you guys the story about the one time where this little elderly gentleman, and I say little because he was on a cane, he was a little hunched over. These kids literally run by him, open the door. He is not 5 feet from the door, and these are double doors. So there's like the door, then you walk inside, then another door, and they just let it go on him. And so, I ran to the door to open it, and this is not about me. And then sibling went through, because she passed him up, went through and opened the other door, so he could get in. And when I saw that and we opened the other doors, I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. What is wrong with those kids? Well, one of them heard me and turned around. Now, when I'm in a mood, I don't care. I do not care. My dad worries about that. So does my mom, because I try to use my spidey senses so I don't get killed. But and no, I'm not kidding when I say that either, because I don't want to die. Not like that. But I was just like, you got to be fucking kidding me. It's like, who raised these people? And I thought about it that day, and I don't always want to blame the parents, because sometimes the parents, they do everything they can to teach your kids to be courteous, but when they're with their friends, they don't give a shit. It's just all about them and being cool, or thinking they're funny. And, or, if I hold the door open, what will my friends think? It's like every single one of them might have actually thought about it, but all of them were so probably worried about what the other one would think, they didn't bother. They didn't bother. But we teach each other by the things that we do. All one person had to do was hold the door open. But they didn't. But the kid heard me and he turned around. He's like, do you have a fucking problem? I'm like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And I said, you couldn't wait 5 seconds for this gentleman to get through the door? And he's like, so F you, bitch. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. And we're in the middle of a department store. I'm just like, whatever. And he's like, why are you scared? I'm like, of you? No. I'll admit my heart was beating a little. But I wasn't going to back down. Not to mention I was in the sporting goods section, so surrounded by weapons. But not the safest thing in the world. I'm not a violent person, but I do take exception to people who are rude. It takes more work to be kind. And it's a strength. I read something today that, don't worry about rude people. They're just blah, blah, they're lazy. But if we stopped, imagine a different scenario. Okay, we'll flip this a little bit. Imagine these kids thinking they're so cool and hot shit and everything. If one of them stopped to open the door for that man, another one probably would have went through and opened the other door. But they were so focused on whatever it is they were doing, wherever it is they were going, they just didn't give a shit. They don't think about the fact that someday this will be them. And that's exactly what I told him. When he's all like, are you scared? I'm like, no, I'm not. And I said, I hope when you're his age, that happens to you all the time. I said, that's the karma I'm putting on you. And then he flipped me off and walked off. But I know in my heart that this is something people think about. Because they, nobody tells them that. When I was a little kid, I did that once. I was probably about 8 or 9. And I learned a lot of life lessons by being dumb or saying stupid things. In fact, I'm going to go with this one. I remember coming home from church and looking out the window, and I didn't realize my mom had issues with her weight. I mean, when I got older and I started dealing with my own issues and weight, I realized mom had an emotional eating problem. For whatever reason, I don't know, but she did. She kind of fed her pain. But my mom, was like my other friend and I were talking. It's like, I have a problem with emotional eating, but I also love food. And I don't mean love food like, but, yeah, see, Shannon's all, my mom would have knocked me in the back of my head. My mom would have made me go back and hold that door open and then apologize to that person. So yeah, it's kind of the same thing as being knocked upside the head. But they were on their own. There were no parents around. So, except the parent that doesn't have kids, right? But I remember I was looking out the window. I'm like, Mom, look at that guy. He's so fat. And like I said, I was probably about 7 or 8. We were coming home from church, and my mom says, you know what? She's all, you shouldn't say things like that. You don't know what he's going through. You don't know why he's like that. And I thought about that. And I thought, wow, I mean, I was 9, so this is like the early 80s, and actually, I don't even think I was 9. It was, like I said, I was about 7 or 8. So this is the very early 80s. And that stuck with me. Or when we would be at the mall because my mom loved to go shopping after church. Oh, I hate the mall. But I only go if I have to. But or if there's something in, like, or I'm, I don't know. I only go there if I have to, absolutely have to. I do not go there for any other reason. But I remember when I was a kid, if we were at the mall, and a lot of the doors out are the malls in San Diego, quite a few of them are actually outdoor malls. So, there's doors that go in everything. It's not like just an inside mall where all the doors are open. So I ran over and my mom said, why don't you go open that door for that person? It's like, okay. And this is where I'm going to circle back now, 10 minutes later, and talk about being thankful. Because, I remember one time I ran in, because by then it was just like, oh, I like opening doors for people because it makes you feel good inside, right? And it makes you feel like you've done something for the day. And I held the door open for somebody. And they just turned around and looked at me and said, thank you so much, that you're a very kind young lady. And then they looked at my mom and they're all like, you're doing a great job. And I feel like, wow, that was like a win for mom and I, right? And my dad would tell me to do the same thing. Dad didn't go to church with us because, as I mentioned in the past, Dad's not a believer. But, and I had to go. I did not have a choice. But I knew, even though my mom didn't say anything, she just said, good for you, Shell. And it's like, okay. Or babe. My mom would call me babe sometimes. So she's like, good for you, babe. And it's like, okay. And, and that was that. But that's a thought that was running in my head this morning, because I was just like, I didn't do it for the thank yous. I didn't do it for any acknowledgement. I did it because it made me feel good. And because it's something polite that we do. It was like when I told you when I went to go see Thor and, a couple weeks ago. And I was leaving the theater and I was 12 feet from the door. And this little boy was still little. He's probably about 12, still holding the door open. I'm like, oh, you can let it go. He's like, no, it's okay. I'll wait. And his dad's just walking off. No idea where his kid is. And so I kind of rushed to the door, right? I mean, I hate it when I'm holding the door open for people and they just take their time. Like, it's my job to do this. It's like, I'm trying to be courteous to you. It's like, could you at least, show some kind of appreciation? It's like, I don't need the thank you, but when someone's doing something nice for you, don't be an asshole, okay? That drives me crazy with people in the crosswalks. It's like, it's illegal in California. I don't know if it's illegal everywhere, but in California, it is actually illegal to turn if somebody's in the crosswalk. It doesn't matter if it is a, 6-lane road and they're on the opposite side. The minute they hit the ground into the crosswalk, you are not supposed to turn. But people do anyways. Most people are not pulled over for that. Unless people are really close and there's a cop there that says, okay, seriously, now you're endangering people. It's something people don't normally know because we get away with it all the time. Mostly get away with it all the time. But then they just look at you. They're on their phones or doing this, that, and the other. And it's like, yes, exactly. And Shannon put it perfectly. Lollygagging drives me crazy. It drives me crazy too. I'm not saying, run to the door, but at least show some acknowledgement, because those are the same people that after they, they cross or whatever, or, you open the door, don't even bother to say thank you. Now in the crosswalk, I get it. Not necessary for people to say thank you. I do. Because I can't, when I was younger and even now, when I see somebody trying to turn, I try to hightail my ass across the street. All right. But these are the little things I learned. Say kind things to people. You never know what they're going through. But it's, when it's talking about if the only prayer you said in your whole life was thank you, that would suffice. It really does make a difference. Especially now. And that's kind of the point I was making. Like, when you hold the door open for somebody, notice how they say thank you to you. Okay? Because we've gotten into this day and age where so many people are just so either focused on their electronics, focused on what they need to do, focused on them, that they forget about everybody else. So, like, they could have someone 4 feet behind them and literally not even see them. The only reason I was upset when those boys did that to this older gentleman was because they ran by him. They saw him there. It would have taken less than a minute out of their lives and wherever they had to be, because they didn't care. But it was just about running past somebody, getting in, doing whatever. And it's like, it wouldn't have taken that long to be courteous and show some, polite behavior. And even Shannon, Shannon saying, walk with a purpose is what I tell my kids. And she got little kids, okay? So, but you know what? My mom used to tell me that too. She's all, because my mom, when my parents first moved to California, we had one car. So when I would go to preschool, my mom would take me on the bus and then take the bus to work. And because she started at San Diego State when I turned 1. It was literally the day after I turned 1. She got her, she started her first day there. So, she would take me on the bus, but whenever we'd have to cross the street, she'd be like, hurry up, babe. She's all, we gotta go. And so, she's walking fast. My little legs are running, but that's stuck with me too. And I think we just get into this thing where, and yeah, there are going to be people that are slower. I try not to judge because I don't know everybody's health situation. But when you see the people like, I'll just use this as an example, like, going across the street, it's like, could you like maybe find some purpose, or at least acknowledge that you see me waiting for you to go? And I know it seems something petty to be upset about, but this is where gratitude comes in. This is where, the lack of gratitude comes in. See, there are people who have to walk and do this and that all the time because maybe they don't have a car. There was a time when I didn't have a car. I had to commute. I had to take trolleys and buses to get to work, before I got my first car. And fortunately, since then, I've always had a vehicle available to me, and so I've been very fortunate. But until I was until I was 20, I did not have a car. So I mean, I would work it out with my parents. If I had to work late somewhere, they'd come get me because it's nighttime and I'm a girl. But because I did work in downtown for a while, but before downtown became all pretty and amazing and safer. But yeah, this is where gratitude comes in. And so a lot of times I will sit there even while people are lollygagging and doing whatever, and I'll just be like, I'm so happy and grateful that I have the patience because this person ain't worth my energy. But it also makes you appreciate the people that do run. And I find myself sometimes when I see people acknowledging me and just kind of trying to hurry, it's like, no, take your time. And because, some people, they're trying to hurry, but they can't. And I think some people in the crosswalk are sometimes shocked when I just kind of give them the thanks wave. And they're, and then they kind of wave back. And that's what I'm talking about. Like when you open the door, the next time you open the door for somebody, really kind of listen. And maybe they'll just say, oh, thank you, but there's going to be people that be like, oh my God, thank you so much. I mean, think about the moms with the strollers, right? Not every door is a Jedi door. Okay, I know they're electronic doors, but I call them Jedi doors. Open. So are open. But have you ever done that? Have you stood in front of one of those? Open? I know. I'm such a nerd, such a geek. But listen to them. I mean, there have been times when I think all of us, have run to the door when we see somebody struggling to get in, to hold the door open, and they're very, very grateful. And I think it's because it's not just a thank you, or thank you for doing that. It's a, oh my God, thank you so much. Because people don't do this shit anymore. We just leave people to hang, we leave people out there to hang and, or, you know what? The saying is in my head, but it is not coming out right. We hang people out to dry. That's the one I'm looking for. Sorry, guys. My brain. So, but yeah, I mean, I know that I'm kind of going in 50 directions from what the actual gratitude lesson is, but these are the things I'm talking about. Oh my God, that is so funny. So Lucas, her son, I know. It's like, this is my family. If we don't carry the actual family name, the children end up being named the last name. So, Lucas, she said, when he was like 3, he said, look, Dad, I'm using the force. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love that you were raising your children to use the force. Okay. That that is a genre that needs to live on forever as far as I'm concerned. I got stories for that too. God, I swear. But they're the kind of stories that make you feel your age and you just kind of giggle and go, oh well, there's some things I got to do other people didn't get to do. So, but there is a level of gratitude in all these things, in everything we do. The next time you're in the crosswalk, if you just happen to be, watching this, even if you are a person that hustles across the street, think about all the cars that turned in front of you before you even hit the median, right? Then you cross the median and there's still cars coming in front of you. So you're not sure what's happening, but sometimes just pay attention, because there is that car that once you hit the median, they just wait. They don't take that chance that they have to go. They just wait. And they wait patiently. And sometimes people behind them will honk because it's like, well, why aren't you turning? Oh, because like I said, a lot of people don't know that. Also, just for a fun fact, when you are in the intersection, it is illegal to change lanes in the intersection. So if you're in lane 1 and you decide, oh, nobody's there, I'm going to move to lane 2, if there's a cop nearby and they stop you, it's because it's against the law. Most of the time, it's not a big deal. Like I said, there are certain things that they got better things to do, so they don't bother. But just it's a good thing to note these things just in case. But be grateful. Like I said, there have been times when I've crossed the street. Oh my God, that's so funny. Here I'm thinking, okay, I named him after George Lucas, but Lucas is a strong family name, so it worked perfectly. I think that's why Andrew agreed. So I can't tell you how often, and I think I've mentioned this before in the perspective, but I'm not sure if Shannon was ever on, how many times I go to Disneyland, I go to Tomorrowland, I go to buy something at the Star Wars store, I go into the Star Wars experience in there, and people see my last name when I pay. Oh, so how's George? I know. So, and you know what? I'm actually more impressed at the fact that she named him after George Lucas. It works, right? So the family never has to know, but I know. And I'll be honest with you, I respect that more. I respect that more than naming him after the family name. Oh, I know. George Lucas was my first. I mean, I was only 4 when I saw Star Wars, and so now I'm really kind of giving away my age. So, aww. So, okay. I love this girl. I love this girl more and more. I mean, she's family, but still, you don't have to love your family, but I love. So, her son Corey, his middle name is Owen, which, as you know, is Luke's uncle. And she snuck it in. And she said her husband, who's actually related to me, didn't even realize it until later. But I have to say, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan, all these people are some of my favorite directors. I have a few others. In fact, my friend and I were talking about our top 5 what directors I would love to meet before I die, kind of thing. And but George Lucas was really my first, because I was 4 when Star Wars came out, and my dad took me to see it, and I loved it. It was probably the first thing that ever caught my attention. I mean, I always joke when it comes to sports that I was born and raised a Padres and Chargers fan, which are the San Diego teams. But to be honest with you, I didn't start paying attention to that shit till I was like 8. Okay, that's when it really started to sink in. And I have been going to baseball games since I was like 1. All right, maybe even before that. But and football, been watching football since I was like 5. But it's around that sweet spot, right around 8, where you just start really hunkering down and paying attention. But when it came to movies, that was the movie that started my love of movies. That's the movie that started my love of sci-fi and fantasy and adventure and all these things. Because it was just like, wow. Even now, when I go back and watch Star Wars, a lot of times it'll hit me like, wow, the technology has gotten so much better. But at the same time, I'm thinking, you know what? There's just something so innocent and awesome about those movies. And so, since I'm off the rails of the thank you, I'm going to tell you a little story, which is kind of funny, about I guess it was number let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. Movie number 7. So Star Wars number 7. Um, she wanted to name them Jedi. I'm not gonna lie, that would have been a hard no for me too. But no, you know what? I get it. I get it. It's actually not a bad name. But creativity is good. But when she got her dog, she named her Leia. Yeah, nobody gets it. You know what? The fur moms get to name the babies. Okay, if there is a couple. I mean, if you're a single fur parent, then have at. Surprisingly, all my fur babies came pre-named. I know they came with a name, but and I chose to keep them. So, and in fact, I didn't even give older sibling a say in it. I was just like, nope, they're keeping those names. But so when everybody thinks about Pixel, it's like, oh, why'd you name her? It's like, I didn't name her. She just came that way. She was like 4 when I got her. I wasn't changing her names. But the funny thing about the story about movie number 7. All right, this is less about gratitude today and more about fun facts of Shelley. Apparently, I went to see movie number 7. This is around the time that they started doing reserve seating. Thank goodness, because I love reserve seating in the movie theaters. And I was sitting at the end, and there was this whole row, like probably from right in front of me and about 13 seats down, all empty. And then this couple shows up and they're sitting next to me, probably in their early 20s, maybe I'd say early 20s. And all these kids come in. And this guy is like, oh. And I could hear his girlfriend go, what? She's all, what's wrong, babe? And he's all, look at all those kids coming in. And he's all, I hope that they're quiet. And she's like, well, that was like us 10 years ago, or, blah, 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 when we go see movies and this, that, and the other. And all I could think of was, because they were kids, I guess, when the last movie of the prequels came out. So I was just like, I didn't mean to, but I snorted. I laughed. I'm like, when they're all like, and the guy's all like, he's all, oh, are you worried about the kids too? I said, no, I was just laughing at you two talking about being kids when the last, when Revenge of the Sith came out, or not Revenge of the Sith, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, yeah, Revenge of the Sith, I guess. I don't know. My brain is just not functioning. And he's all, was that bad? I said, no. I literally saw the very first movie. I said I was 4, but I said I was 4 when Star Wars came out. And he's all, oh. And he's looking at me like, how is that possible? And I said, no, the original movie in 1977. And they're like, whoa. And all of a sudden I go from feeling like kind of old to all of a sudden they are literally like, that must have been so cool. You're so lucky, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm feeling a little nostalgic, but good about this. But I just remember the girl expressing some form of gratitude. She's just saying, well, I'm just, hopefully, I'm just going to be grateful that they were probably as quiet as we were when we went to go see these movies when we were kids. And it caught my ear. But I was like, wow, there's gratitude. And sure enough, these kids were quiet. There's adults that make more noise than their kids. Not these. They were all fine. But it's just those kind of things, right? Which I'm going to tie in now and say that, I'm grateful for these experiences. I always worry what people are going to think about because I'm at a certain age. But it's like, it took a lot for me to get here. I can honestly say there are times in my life when I'm not even sure I would have made it here. One way or the other. And, this is my lifeline. Thanks to this, I figure every day is a gift. Every birthday is a gift. So, we have to stop worrying. Age is just a number. Okay, age is literally just a number. You never know what great things are going to happen to you. So be thankful. It's like, just like the quote says, if the only prayer you said in your whole life was thank you, that would suffice. Now, that last story had nothing to do with gratitude, except for the fact that she did try to gratitude quietness around her. But other than that, but you know what? I do express gratitude for that. I'm grateful that they made me feel kind of special, because it's like a lot of people go like, whoa, you were around for blah, blah, blah. But you know, it's one of those things, and it is things that I'm grateful for. Sibling, older sibling, who's my soul sister. She's about, well, she's older than me, but she was a kid growing up in the 60s, and I love history. History is one of my favorite subjects. And when you get to meet people that experience certain parts of history, even the sad bits, you get a different perspective on it. She was a very young child when well, let me put it this way, because I don't, it's not my place to really kind of give away her stuff, but I got to ask her about when Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. were both assassinated. And I was just like, what was the ultimate, like, what was the overall feeling of everything? And to know people, I'm grateful for that. Not because you want to, kind of dive into the sadness of the situation, but because the history books don't go into that. They just tell you the facts and then you move on. My grandmother, it took me years to get my grandmother and my grandfather to tell me about Pearl Harbor. And, you guys know I love history. I was very fascinated with all of that. And I remember finally asking my grandma, and she's like, why do you want to know so much? Because I told her, I said, I love history, but history doesn't give us the feelings that people went through. And I said, I like to dive in. It gives it more power, And on the flip side, my parents had met a woman who survived the atomic bombs in Japan. I'll get to those on another day. In fact, because I think these are some really good stories we should share to remind ourselves of how important human life is, how to be grateful for human life. But, oh my God, this girl is so funny. She's naming off all her dogs now. So, you named a snake after Padme? What are you trying to say? She's like, she's naming off all her dogs and frogs. Oh my God. Okay, so this is perfect. She named her frogs Jabba, like Jabba the Hutt, and Jar Jar. Totally perfect names for them. But yeah, no, I love it. She does not love Star Wars at all. Everything with this girl is Star Wars. I love it. I 100% love it. I love you. I love you. I love you, cousin. Seriously. And yeah, Shannon's saying it too. I'm so thankful for people that experience things so I can actually learn about it from their perspective. And, oh, she was a candy corn snake. I do like snakes. Snakes are fun. Not the ones that try to kill you and bite you or swallow you, but, for the longest time I had a fascination with rosy boas. I know that, and they're so cool on you during hot summertime. But when they're just kind of rolling around your neck because you're warm and they're cold, so everybody gets something out of it. But I'm grateful for that perspective too. And again, so see, this is what Eckhart Tolle, I believe, is trying to say. If the one prayer you say is thank you, it's powerful, because even if it's with your higher power. I was reading somewhere that says, don't just ask. Like, if you pray, right? Don't just ask for something. Say thank you. If your higher power is God, right? Say, you know what? Thank you, God, for this. Because you're showing gratitude before you've received it, which also shows the fact that you are telling God, I trust you to deliver this. You are telling your higher power, your source, I trust you to deliver this or something better. This or that which this or that which is meant for me. What is wrong with my mouth today? I cannot talk. It's like everything is trying to come out faster from my brain than my mouth can get it out. But like, whatever is meant for you, be grateful for it. You may not know what it is, but you say, thank you, God, for blah blah blah. And you get blah blah instead of that third blah. I know, bad example, but it's because that's what was meant for you. So be grateful. Thank you, Lord, for yada yada yada, or something, this or something better, or this or that which is meant for me. Maybe when you're praying you say this or what is meant for me, because I don't know, it just sounds politer. more politer. It sounds more polite. But gratitude is a huge thing. Even if you don't have a higher power, a higher source, or anything else that you lean into, gratitude is the most powerful tool you will ever own. In fact, sometimes I think I should do that. There are times when I have experiences and I remember things and I think back on them, like with those kids. And I should have just said, you know what? I'm so happy and grateful that your karma slaps you when you're like his age. And then you'll understand why this moment was so important. And they probably won't think about it, but they might think about it later. Or they may be just, have a bunch of things filled, with their hands, and somebody lets the door go in front of them and it's like, well, thanks a lot. And, somebody, it could be a sibling. They could turn around and say, well, you do it to me all the time. That can also trigger things. See, it's not about telling people how to live their lives. When we show gratitude, gratitude is planting that seed. Gratitude is planting that seed and letting it grow, however it's going to grow. Because eventually it's going to grow to a point where they're going to start to see their actions and how their actions reflect on others. Like when parents always tell them, you know what, you're setting an example for your younger siblings. Now I know older siblings are thinking, well, why is it my responsibility? It's like, sorry, you're the test kid. And then after their siblings, you're the one that is expected to kind of show them the ropes. A lot of people get all bent out of shape and all of that. But if you really stop to think about it, it's a great responsibility. Because you're like co-parenting in a way with your parents. You're not parenting with them, but they're giving you responsibilities to show them and to teach them, to give them a pathway. I have a friend who has 2 sons, and they didn't really get to know their father much growing up. He was rather in and out of their lives. But the younger one, you can tell, really looks up to his older brother. And really respects a lot of the things that he did for him growing up. And that's always nice to see. So, and Shannon says it perfectly too. It really is about being grateful. Being grateful for small things makes life much easier to handle. It truly, truly does. So she's saying there's a song by Scott McCreery called Dirty Dishes. Sometimes when I forget to be grateful, I listen to it. I've never heard of it. Wasn't he a guy that was on American Idol? I don't watch American Idol, but when they get into the top 4, they make the news. So, I'll check it out. I think he's the one that looks like he's like 10, but has this voice of like some major crooner, right? The minute he opens his mouth, you're like, what? That voice came out of that face? I mean, he looks like he's 5, but I know, it's starting to show my age, the little things I say. But yeah, being grateful really is the number one tool that you should keep in your tool belt. No matter what the situation. No matter what the situation. Because, again, if the only prayer you said in your whole life was thank you, that would suffice. Good or bad, gratitude can help you flip the narrative. If it is something that is going horribly wrong, just say, you know what? There are things, in fact, I'm going to give you one last example before I let you go. So much for this being short, right? I'm going to give you one last example before letting you go. Yesterday, I just felt like I was being just poked by just negative thoughts, bad energy, all this stuff. And finally I thought, you know what? Leaning into the negativity is not working for me. It's not helping. It's not changing anything. So I thought, what if I flip the narrative? And I started saying, I'm so happy and grateful for, all these little icky things that keep happening to me, because it's reminding me to fight for my strength. It's reminding me of the power I have. It's reminding me to be grateful. And at one point it was just like, you know what? I'm so happy and grateful that, this happened, because it's a lesson learned and now I know what not to do. Or I'm so happy, or a lot of times they'll just be like, oh yeah, I'm so happy and grateful for that reminder. Thank you, thank you, thank you. like when something bad is happening, right? Or you have these negative thoughts that just start feeling like someone's just whispering them in your ear, trying to make you feel bad about yourself. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm so happy and grateful for the reminder to think more positively. And then they start to go away. The bad energy, the bad whatevers, maybe there's something out there poking that we can't see. I don't know. Across the board. I mean, I know for me personally, I get poked by a lot of different things. And that's what baby sibling and I call it, when that bad energy just tries to, push that button of yours. But now I have my own saying. I'm so happy and grateful for that reminder. But the whole thing is, I'm so happy and grateful for that reminder to be more positive, to remind myself how far I've come, all the things that I've been able to heal in my life, all the traumas that, I've finally been able to put in a box and put into the storage of my mind and leave it there and not worry about it again. Let it go. Let it go. I would say that I let it go and burned it, put it in a little burn barrel inside of my head, but there will always be these weird triggers. So for some reason, this box just seems to be that box that doesn't fade. So that being said, we learn through gratitude. If you're upset, sit down and start counting your blessings, all the little things that you have to be thankful for. Whether it's your job, even if you don't like your job, be grateful that you have a job to pay the bills. I'm telling you, it's not easy being out of work, okay? People always talk about how there's all these jobs out there, and it's like, well, will someone please reach out to me? Because waiting, but, and it's not that I'm not qualified. In some cases, I'm overqualified. But, and that's not to toot my own horn. It's just called life experience, But all in all, I am grateful for this time that I've had to understand my value and my worth. And that, only people who, are deserving deserve my energy, deserve my time, deserve what I bring to the table for whatever career finds me next. I mean, we all had big dreams. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor, not to be famous, but because I just loved performing. But I was so shy, I could never pull that trigger. I was so shy. That's why I went into writing. So I would write my own little things and I would read them out loud like somebody was listening, like a little, book reading. And then writing just became my passion, and, but even then, so shy and worried people aren't going to like things. Sometimes we have to push through fear. Sometimes we have to. Eleanor Roosevelt, I mentioned this yesterday. She had a quote: do one thing every day that scares you. Do one thing every day that scares you. So, and then be grateful for it. Say thank you. All right, I'm going to repeat this quote one last time. It's been all over the page today. If the only prayer you said in your whole life was thank you, that would suffice. Eckhart Tolle. So remember, be grateful for everything in your life. Be grateful for everything around you. Even again, in the bad times, be grateful. Okay? Because gratitude is everything. Gratitude is your flashlight in the darkness. And even if it's dim, the more grateful you are, the brighter it's going to get, because you're going to realize that, what? Yes, it's hard, but we can keep moving forward, and we can keep doing that in gratitude. And like I said, just over the next couple of days, take time, or today and tomorrow, okay? Because tomorrow's Self-Care Wednesday. Just if you're in the situation where you have the opportunity to hold the door open for someone or to do something kind for someone, just listen to their thank yous. And they may just be regular thank yous, but I would almost guarantee that somewhere in there is going to be someone that doesn't get shown kindness very often and will be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Or they're just very grateful in general. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Tomorrow is Self-Care Wednesday, so I hope you come back for that. As per usual, we'll do the self-care ritual deck. And I think last time I got upended and we ended up doing something different last week, but tomorrow we'll probably be back to the positive affirmations. Okay. So I'll have 5 of those. We'll talk about them. Then I'll send you on your way. All right. So again, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, daylight time, whatever. Thank you, older sibling and Shannon, for popping on to watch. There's a third eyeball on there, but I can't see. excuse me, I can't see who it is, but whoever you are, thank you, thank you, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And it's on Facebook Live. All the lives are public under Shelly Marie Lucas. Shelly Marie is one word. Or you can watch the replay on YouTube under the Aloha Perspective with Shelly Marie Lucas. Thank you again so much for watching. I will talk to everybody tomorrow, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. May the force be with you.